what do we say? We get stuff wrong here. So
Yeah. Welcome
we
to the
do
podcast.
our best.
Welcome to the podcast. We get things wrong here. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Generation in Between, a Xennial podcast where we remember, revisit, relearn, and sometimes reread things from our childhoods in the 80s and be 90s teens. Hi, I'm Katie.
That was an interesting twist.
I was like, how do I say the things? Because I've already gotten off track. But by the way, this is Katie.
And this is Danny.
Hey, and you've found us.
Sorry, guys. It's Tech Week for us.
It's Tech Week.
We don't know.
We're so tired. And by we, I mean me for sure. But yes, so we are on our last episode of Xennial Girl Summer 2026
Summer's
edition.
coming to a complete.
It is. And so today we are going to be discussing the last book in Xennial Girl Summer, and that is the original Anne of Green Gables novel. And Danny has thoughts.
I knew going in that it was going to be a thing. Before we start, though, we do have some corrections.
Yeah.
Shock. We got some stuff wrong, we think.
Maybe.
So when we were talking about Space Camp on our last episode, Tate Donovan, I said, was the voice of Hercules, which is true, but he did not sing the part. Interestingly enough, Hercules had 3 different voices. There was a voice actor when he was a teen. Then there was a singer. And then there was Tate Donovan, who is Hercules as an adult.
Okay.
So my bad. So let me tell y'all who it was because I had to look it up. Sarah was the one who corrected us. Now, I don't know why. Y'all need to understand, it is the 2 of us that do research, and usually just one of us does research for an episode. There's only so much we can find, and we do fact check ourselves. There's somebody on the internet came for us one day, and they were like, no, that's incorrect, whatever. And I was like, oh, yeah, we must have missed that. Sorry. And she's like, well, you're a podcast. Sorry doesn't do it. And I'm like, okay, well, we do make mistakes. Like, we're a 2-person team. And like, if we make mistakes, we will say, hey, we made a mistake.
Yeah,
so thank you for the tip. Like, relax. Okay. So the singer of that was Roger Bart.
Okay, Roger Bart.
And then Josh Keaton was teen Hercules.
Okay. So 3 voices for Hercules.
Yeah. And then we had another YouTube comment about Sweet Valley High.
Maybe. Okay. So for Sweet Valley High, if you guys listened to that episode, I did mention how Francine Pascal didn't write all the books. And she wrote the first 7. And then she had this whole team of ghostwriters, and they all wrote under a pseudonym and that whole thing, Kate Williams or something like that. So when I was researching that fact, I found like 5 different versions of it. I found some that said she didn't write any of them. She only had the concept. It was always ghostwriters. I found other ones that said, oh, she wrote the first one. No, the only one she ever wrote was that 2011 one that everyone hated. Anyway, so all the research was all over the place. So I just went with what I found on like the official Sweet Valley High page.
Got you.
Which said she wrote the first 7 and then hired a team. But someone did come on YouTube to basically say that I was wrong and that she didn't write any of them. And to be honest, unless I talk to her or her team directly, I don't know that I will ever find the answer to that. But just know she did not write all 180 books of that series.
Right.
And the level that she did write, we don't know.
Bottom line. Yeah, well, this is what they said. First of all, the first line the person said was misinformation. It's not misinformation.
About Sweet Valley High. Watch out.
Anyway, she said Pascal wrote 4 to 5 page plot outlines in bullet point format. Eileen Gouge Ghost wrote 5 of the first 12 books, including the first book. I don't know. It said editor Eve Becker is responsible for creating much of Sweet Valley, like the Dari Burger and the twins Red Fiat Spider and characters, etc. The only Sweet Valley book Pascal actually wrote was Sweet Valley Confidential,
which was that 2011 one.
But I don't know.
I'd be interested to know where she got that, and maybe I'll ask her. Like, not in a mean way. Like, I really would like to know, like, where you found that.
Yeah.
Because
you went to the,
I didn't
but who knows?
see that. And also, like, the official page also might not be telling the truth because it doesn't look great to say she wrote none of them. So I don't know.
True.
Who knows?
Who knows?
But just know, everyone, none of us think that Francine Pascal wrote them all.
Yeah. And also, like, know that we're human beings and we make mistakes.
Absolutely.
Obviously. What do we say? We get stuff wrong here. So,
yeah. Welcome
we
to the
do
podcast.
Our best.
Welcome to the podcast. We get things wrong here.
Yeah.
But anyway,
we do our best.
I think that was most of the corrections for now.
For now.
For now. Wait till. Oh, but I know Sarah's listening, and I almost texted you, Sarah, and said, "Hey, send me all the Anne of Green Gables stuff you want me to mention." And then I thought, no, that's putting too much on her.
She's gonna say a lot.
She's gonna send us a lot, so I didn't. So hopefully I covered a lot of the things because I know this one's near and dear to your heart, and you can tell me all the things I missed, and we will follow up on our next episode with it. So here we go. Anne of Green Gables.
Y'all, she's got like a book of papers sitting here on this table.
We're gonna try to get through it, and I may skip over a few things if we figure they're not relevant. We'll see. So Anne of Green Gables is a 1908 novel written by the Canadian author Lucy Maud Montgomery. So she published under L.M. Montgomery, which, you know, woman writing at the turn of the century, that was pretty common.
Right.
It is an all-ages book, but it is considered a classic children's novel. It is set in the late 19th century, and it recounts the adventures of 11-year-old orphan girl Anne Shirley, sent by mistake to two middle-aged siblings, which I thought was a weird plot
It's super
point.
weird.
It's kind of weird. Matthew and Marilla Cuthbert, who had originally intended to adopt a boy to help them on their farm.
Also weird. Like, we are adopting a kid for child labor.
I know. It's weird.
I mean, again, that's the time.
It was a thing,
still.
but yeah. And it's set in the fictional town of Avonlea in Prince Edward Island, Canada. The novel recounts how Anne makes her way through life with the Cuthberts in school and within the town, basically. Okay. And there's more books later, which we'll talk about. So it was first published June 13th, 1908 by a Boston publisher, L.C. Page and Company. And since then, over 50 million copies have been sold worldwide, and it's been translated into 36 languages.
Crazy. So you loved this book as a kid.
I did. I think I loved like the TV miniseries more than the book. Like, I remember watching those.
Okay.
And then that got me to read the book.
Did you read all of them? Because
no,
like
I don't
series?
think so.
Did you reread it?
I reread it. Yeah. I reread it.
Read this as a kid, but I do not remember like enjoying it. Maybe I did, but man, it is boring. But
I will say this time through, I was a little bored with it.
Were you? Okay, that was what I was going to ask. Because I'm like, did it still hold up? Like when I reread from the Mixed Up Files, I still enjoyed it as much as I did as a little kid. If I read this as a kid, I may have liked it. Mm-hmm. But man, I was like, this book never be ending.
Yeah, it kind of goes on, which is pretty common for novels of the time. But yeah, it was a little too long, and obviously things that stood out to me now as an adult too. Like we've already mentioned, like the siblings adopting someone, and then they want to, like the idea that you can just send a child back because they're not the right gender.
I know.
I mean, obviously, again, written long time ago and written before to cover the time before it came out. Again, doesn't make it right. But, you know, things that sort of like made me like, ooh.
But listen, we've said this before. Just because when people say, oh, it was a different time, yes, but that doesn't make it okay.
Right.
So, like, I think we get trapped in that when we talk about things from a long time ago. Like, I mean, like, I always go back to this, like slavery. Okay. Oh, it was of the time. Great. But does that make it okay?
Right.
To treat other human beings like cattle? No. Right. Like, that doesn't make it okay.
Or the child labor stuff.
Or like, that's what, like child labor, does that make it okay to, that's why I don't like Annie. The whole plot of Annie, I don't like. This rich man wants to adopt a little girl. Like, it's weird.
It is weird to begin with.
Y'all should not like that musical.
You should not. And it's not like I'm ever going to do it at my studio. Maybe.
Are you doing it?
I don't know. I might at some point.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
So I like it only because it's got a lot of parts for little girls.
But everything has parts for girls.
I mean, not everything, unfortunately. Not as many.
Well, kid shows, I mean.
Depends. If you do one about animals, yes. If you do like The Jungle Book or Madagascar, then you can honestly, and I'm not saying like, oh, I only want to cast girls. It's just I have way more girls to cast.
Yeah,
so I'm always looking for the shows where there's a lot of opportunities.
Girls,
yeah. But anyway, we're not talking about Annie today. Anne of Green Gables.
Anne of Green Gables.
It has been adapted as films, television film, animated, and live action television series. Musicals and plays have been created. We're going to talk about that a little. With one that has a production annually in Canada, and there's actually international productions of the musical in Europe and Japan. This series, and Anne of Green Gables specifically, it has a huge Japanese following.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
We'll get into like some of that, but it's like a mandatory thing that's read in Japanese schools. It's like a whole thing, like buying the fake red braids and wearing them and like all sorts of stuff. It's like a huge deal over there. So there are 8 main books in the classic Anne of Green Gables series, and it follows from this series on. There's Anne of Green Gables, 1908, Anne of Avonlea, 1909, Anne of the Island, 1950, Anne's House of Dreams. I don't think I ever read that one.
That sounds like a brothel.
I know, it kind of does. Rainbow Valley, followed up by Rainbow Valley, 1919. Rilla of Ingleside, 1921. Anne of Windy Poplars, 1936. Anne of Ingleside, 1936.
So she downwrote those a long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 1908 to 1936. Yeah, they came out a bunch. And then there's also companion books, The Chronicles of Avonlea, that came out in 1812 as a short story collection.
1812?
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. Yeah, before she was even born, it came out. It's crazy.
Okay.
And Anne is like a cameo in those. It's really about the other characters.
Like the side characters.
Basically, yeah. Further Chronicles of Avonlea, that was 1920. And then The Blythes Are Quoted, which is a final related book that features poetry and short stories involving Anne and her family.
It's a lot of Anne.
That's a lot of Anne. And then in 1908, an authorized prequel, Before Green Gables, by, listen to this author's name, Budge Wilson.
Budge
was published on the occasion of the 100th anniversary of the series.
Dang.
So that's pretty cute. When Anne of Green Gables first came out, the New York Times review, the critic hated it. They thought it was bad. It was an unnamed critic, which I think is interesting.
It was me, guys. I'm past life. Past life.
Funny. Just like that story was written a century before. You also wrote this before you were born. It called Anne Shirley a little asylum waif.
Okay, well, that was not me.
You're like, I take it back.
I take it back.
It wasn't me.
It
implied that Ellen Montgomery hadn't laid any character development. However, guess who was a huge Anne of Green Gables fan? You're never going to guess, so I'm just going to tell you.
Just tell me.
Mark Twain.
Well, look at you.
Yes. Mark Twain praised Anne of Green Gables by calling the main character, Anne Shirley, the dearest and most loving and delightful child since the immortal Alice from Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland.
But do we love Alice even?
No.
Right.
No.
I know. There's a whole thing about Alice that we could go into. Maybe we will one day.
I obviously never met Mark Twain. But my guess is I think Mark Twain really liked characters that were different, right? Like that's what he was really good at writing about. And I'm guessing, at least at the time when this came out too, Anne was outspoken and different and like kind of just doing her own thing in the world. And I'm guessing he liked the nuance of that, if I had to guess. Mark Twain, you can correct me.
Look at you, character analysis of Mark Twain.
Yeah, exactly. When we're talking about Anne of Green Gables, it's fine. Oh, guys, did you notice we're wearing our green shirts?
Yes.
Danny's favorite.
My least favorite.
With the green background.
I know, we forgot to flip it.
It's okay. It's appropriate for today.
It is. It goes.
Okay. So, even though Anne of Green Gables is a work of fiction, it was inspired by a real story about an orphan mix-up that Lucy Maud Montgomery read about, her own childhood loneliness as well, and a real farm that was in her family that's on Prince Edward Island. So all those things combined. So the newspaper article she read was a couple who applied to adopt an orphan boy, but they sent a girl instead. But rather than sending her back, the couple decided to keep her. Wow, good for them. And a similar real-life incident happened to Montgomery's cousin-in-law and her neighbors, the McNeils. And they had something like that happen too, where like a mix-up with adopting. Yeah, I don't know. Montgomery lost her mother as a toddler, so she was orphaned, and her father went off to live somewhere else and marry someone else. Yeah. So she was raised by her strict maternal grandparents in Cavendish, Prince Edward, and she coped with isolation by using imagination and creating imaginary friends.
Do you have imaginary friends?
No.
I sure did.
Did you?
Oh my gosh.
Did they have names?
I don't remember. I totally did. I totally had. That was funny. You looked at me like, of course I didn't.
No.
Sorry.
I was just thinking like I didn't, but I would definitely like play like games or pretend that like my stuffies and dolls and stuff were my friends.
Okay, well, I think that's similar. In the same universe.
Yeah. If I was like by myself, I'd make up a whole
Katie
world.
was born an adult.
She said, now sit there and eat your vegetables.
I'm just kidding.
Time to clear the table. Go make your bed. That was what we played.
The look you gave me was so funny.
It's like when we talk about cartoons, but now imaginary friends.
Like you were like, no.
How dare you? Who told you that? Give me their name.
But that's okay.
No,
that like everybody's imagination works differently. That's totally
true.
Fine.
So, I definitely had a big imagination. I'll tell you that. I talked to myself. She's like,
don't you worry.
I talk to myself a lot.
You still do that.
I still do that.
I mean, I do too. So
yeah. It helps me stay on track with myself.
Troy can't stand it because he'll always be like, am I supposed to be listening and responding right now? Because he can't tell sometimes. Yeah. Like, you know?
And then I get frustrated when my husband's like, are you talking to me? I'm like, yes.
Oh, right.
But he's like, well, I never know.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like,
valid.
Because sometimes I'll just be like, okay, I'm going to grab this. I'm going to do that.
I think females, the dogs.
And then I'm going to.
Every female I know does this.
I think so.
Most.
We're very verbal.
Yeah.
In general. But yes. All right. So Montgomery was inspired. There was a type of storytelling at the time that was popular called formula stories because they followed this kind of strict formula of how things happened. And she liked those. And they often featured orphans. And often the girls were named Anne.
Why?
I don't know. But they were named Anne, A-N-N. So she decided to distinguish her character not by using a different name.
Anne with an E.
But by doing Anne with an E. I don't know. It was a thing. And then she based other characters in the novel, such as Gilbert Blythe, in part on people she knew. But she did say, and I thought this sounded so lovely, she wrote the novel in the twilight of the day while sitting at her window overlooking the fields of Cavendish.
Well, that's very picturesque.
That's very beautiful. And that's what I think of when I think of these novels and when I think of the like movie and TV depictions of it, just that like idyllic nature kind of feel. And I think what they got really good, at least on the visual representations of this novel, is that sort of like freedom of childhood and nostalgia and that sort of thing. And I remember even as a kid really liking that.
I don't think it's badly written. I just think it's boring. That's all.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's super old, too. So
I know. And I'm not huge into... And also, like, Anne talks a lot and unnecessarily, which is something for me to say because I also talk a lot unnecessarily.
I mean, me too.
But, like, I mean, we have a podcast where all we do is talk unnecessarily.
Correct.
But anyway, it was written well. I mean, it was very descriptive. It was, and the narration was good. We both listened to the one that Rachel McAdams read on Audible, and she did a great job.
Oh, yeah. I meant to tell you, I looked that up just to see, why she was picked or how she felt about it. But essentially, they did approach her because she's Canadian.
Oh, yeah.
And she, they approached her to read it, to narrate the book. And she has said it's one of the things she's most proud of in her whole career.
Aww.
Because she grew up with these books and
cute.
She was just like really excited that they asked her to do it.
Aww.
And she did a great job.
Love it.
I think she did a great job.
She was a good narrator.
All right, so let's talk a little more about Lucy Maud Montgomery, who was born November 30th, 1874.
Holy balls.
And she lived till April 24th, 1942. She published 20 novels and more than 1,000 short stories and poems, and she was also a prolific essayist.
Okay.
She wrote a lot of essays. When she was 21 months old, her mother died of tuberculosis. Her father left her in the care of her mother's parents and moved to Western Canada, where he eventually settled in Prince Albert, Saskatchewan, and remarried. But she stayed with her grandparents.
Here, take my child.
And bye.
Patriarchy.
Yes. So then Lucy was an only child living with an elderly couple. She found companionship in nature, books, writing. She started writing poetry when she was 9 and keeping a journal. And then she also spent time with her Uncle John and Aunt Annie, which was her mother's sister. They all kind of like lived near each other. So they were sort of parent figures to her too. At the age of 6, she began attending a one-room schoolhouse near her grandparents' home. She completed early education there. And then from 1893 to 1894, she studied for a teacher's license at Prince of Wales College, and she completed the 2-year course in 1 year and graduated with honors.
Get it, girl.
So she was a teacher right before the turn of the century. She taught at 3 island schools, and then she left teaching to go back to school and selected courses in English literature at Dalhousie University in Nova Scotia. And she was one of the only women at that college at the time.
Of course.
Because she already sort of had her teaching certification, so now this was like an extra thing she was doing. But it was while she was there that she started becoming a published writer and actually getting paid for things like essays and short stories and that sort of thing. But while she was still in school there, her grandfather died suddenly. So she returned to Cavendish to help take care of her grandmother, and she remained with her grandmother for the next 13 years,
Aww.
which is when she wrote and published a lot of it, because 1908 is when Anne of Green Gables came out. And then she was also a proofreader for a newspaper there, so she was just all in on writing and editing and all of those things. When she was done writing Anne of Green Gables, she got lots of rejection letters. In fact, she put it away. It was done, I believe it said she was done writing it in 1903. And then in 1905, she had gotten so many rejections, she just kind of like put it away in a hat box.
Don't blame her.
And then decided again in 1906 or 1907 to try a few more places. And the place in Boston accepted
She said, all right, this is it. One more time.
And do you know that original manuscript still exists?
Really? Where's it at?
It's in a museum in Canada. Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
They don't have the first, they said it's been lost to time, the like handwritten edits to like that the publisher had for a copy of it. And then the first typeset version are lost to time. But her original version that she like hand wrote.
That's cool.
Exists.
That's cool.
So cool. I love that. So she started to make some money as a writer even before Anne of Green Gables came out. So in 1899, for the year, she earned $96.88.
Woo, big
Look out.
But for women to earn any money
right
back then, writing.
And that's the equivalent of about $3,800 today, which again,
still not much.
Bring it in, no.
Yeah.
But then by 1903, she was earning $500 a year.
Ooh.
Which is the equivalent of almost $19,000 today.
Wow.
So that's not bad. She
was
earning like 5 times more by
5 times
1903.
more. Yeah, okay,
yeah.
Gotcha. Which is crazy. That's a
great.
huge jump.
That's a huge jump.
Woo.
And then, of course, her first novel came out, and then she was making a lot of money after that. Her grandmother did die in 1911, and that's when she decided to get married to the Reverend Ewan MacDonald.
Ooh. Why she got married?
No, she had been secretly engaged to him since 1906.
But he was old.
You think he was old and that's why it was a secret? Was she just waiting for her grandma to pass on?
Or she's a reverend. Maybe they have religious differences or something. He's a reverend.
Yeah, maybe.
Look, I'm creating all kinds of drama that maybe not.
Well, you might be on
misinformation. Why?
That's it, misinformation. No. So, in her journals, she expressed her pain at the death of their infant son, Hugh, the horrors of the First World War, the death of her cousin, and the discovery that her husband suffered from religious melancholia, which I looked up. It's a profound sadness, dread, or despair stemming from spiritual concerns. It involves obsessive fears of damnation, agonizing guilt, or the paralyzing belief that one is fundamentally unworthy of God's love and salvation.
Hence what we call religious trauma nowadays.
Yes, same thing. And so I guess he was kind of hard to live with as a result of that.
And his job just reinforces all his fears.
All the things.
But see, that's what the church be doing. They get you that fear, and then you just live your life by fear.
Yes.
Anyway.
He did die before her. I didn't write it down, but it was like 10 years before she died. And then she died in Toronto in 1942. And her body was returned to Prince Edward Island, and she was buried in the Cavendish Cemetery, close to the site of her old home.
Okay.
So she wrote her whole life, lived that way her whole life. Her only child died.
Golly.
I know. It sucks. So I have a little bit about the characters. I might skip over some of these, but obviously Anne, we've already talked about. She's 11 in this novel.
And then she grows to be, what's her age when the book's done?
To me, it was when she's like going on. Yeah, because she goes off to learn to be a teacher.
Yeah.
But that happened younger. I don't know if they said, but I feel like she was like 16.
Yeah. It spanned a long time.
It does. Yeah. It starts at 11. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So we already talked about her a little bit. Marilla.
I do like that name.
I like that name too.
And I like how Rachel McAdams says it.
Yeah.
When she's Anne.
Yeah.
Marilla.
Marilla.
It was cute.
Marilla. She says it like with a U, like Marilla. Marilla.
Whatever. I like
Whatever
how she says it. Yeah.
It's cute.
It's cute.
So she's the sister of the pair that adopt Anne, and she has, this is a quote from the book, glimmerings of a sense of humor. Her life has been without joy, apparently, until the arrival of Anne.
Well, I mean, she's living kind of a hard life.
Yeah.
I mean, she's stuck living with her brother.
On a farm.
No she got to do a lot of shit.
Yeah. She does try to instill discipline in Anne, but ends up kind of growing to love Anne's vivacity and joy. So that's Marilla. Then
freaking Anne cracked the code with Marilla.
She did.
Broke that wall down.
She figured
Broke it down.
Mm-hmm. She did. And then Matthew, the brother, who is a shy man, who does like Anne right from the start. They become friends. Even though Marilla has primary responsibility for rearing Anne, Matthew has no qualms about spoiling her and indulging her with pretty clothes and fancy shoes.
Such a man. Like, hey, you do all the hard shit. Yeah. I'm just going to give her presents.
I'm going to buy her the gifts. I'm going to be the hero.
And I'm going to be her friend. You do everything else that's super hard.
Exactly. You be the disciplinarian and
care for her, cook for her, teach her things.
Yes,
I'm just going to go over here and buy her presents.
That sums up Matthew. Yes, it does. All right, Diana Barry, Anne's best friend and kindred spirit, her quote unquote bosom buddy.
Okay. I'm like, and I think that was probably Anne's first crush.
I really, as a kid, never noticed any of that.
Oh, of course.
But I noticed it this time.
But you know what? I bet some kids may have noticed that back in, like, especially when these books were older and felt validated in a way they didn't know they needed to feel validated.
I agree with you.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes. There's a lot of, and I found discussion online about this too, LGBTQ coded stuff in these books before there was a name for it.
She probably didn't even know. I wonder if she didn't even realize that's what she was doing.
Probably not.
Do you know what I mean?
Probably not, which is kind of great, actually.
I think that's sad because you can't, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
You're writing this and not understand. Listen, I'm also creating my own narrative here in my brain.
Right.
That would be sad. Just like, because we do know of people, like when we were talking about Lost Boys, how there's some stuff in there, which I did find out in the musical, they do acknowledge.
Good.
You know, there is like coded like that the director put in there on purpose.
Sure. Maybe she did. The adaptation Anne with an E that's on Netflix is more explicit with that, makes LGBTQ choices.
Because that's the one that was done in modern day.
Right. So because this book is so old, it is in the public domain now.
Oh, okay.
There's still certain rules surrounding it through her estate. So it's not like Shakespeare where you can just like take it and do whatever you want with it. But that's why places like Netflix and all that have been able to sort of do their own adaptations, because adaptations of it are completely in the public domain at this point. Idea. Anyway, I don't know.
Stay tuned.
I need more to do. Okay, so Diana Barry, she's the bosom buddy. There we go. Gilbert Blythe, handsome, ?
Gilbert,
smart, witty classmate. He's 2 years older than Anne, and he has a crush on her. Unaware of Anne's sensitivity about her red hair, he tries to get her attention by holding her braid and calling her carrots in the classroom. She breaks the slate over his head. Understandably.
I mean, girl, I don't blame you.
He does try to apologize. She's mad about it anyway, but by the end of the book, they become good friends. ? In later books, they're married. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Yep. In later books, there are a couple. In fact, some of the criticism about the later books that I found when I was researching is that Anne is so full of life and so her own person, all these adventures and crazy things. The older books are like her as like a housewife, and all she does is like think about him.
But that happens.
I know. It's real to the time.
That happens.
And happens now too. But they were kind of like, these books aren't really about anything. It's just if you love Anne and you kind of want to follow her life. But
maybe that's what happened to Anne.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, it happens to lots of ladies.
Maybe.
And men too.
I
mean, if the roles are reversed.
To people, yes. Ruby Gillis is another of Anne's friends, and she has several grown-up sisters, and she loves to share her knowledge.
I don't remember this person.
She must have been in the later books. Because I don't remember reading about her this time either. So actually, a lot of these might be.
I'm like, you throwing in people later. Like, what about the nosy neighbor, the bitchy neighbor? She was funny.
Rachel,
the one who starts the book,
Miss Rachel. She's a busybody. But
I know.
she's charitable. And
I love a busybody.
I do too. You gotta, and they're great in stories.
I know.
They're
love
so
a bit
good.
like Mrs. Cratchit. Well, I had a neighbor. This is so funny. Who's not? She was lovely. She was not like it, but she called herself Mrs. Cratchit because I lived on a cul-de-sac, and it was like we were all Air Force, and we all had small kids, and they were not Air Force, but she her and her husband, actually, her husband is a music dean at kids. So she said she used to be Mrs. Cratchit, always looking out her window, spying on all. I mean, of course, she would come hang out with us, and she was a great person. But like, it was funny. She used to call herself Mrs. Cratchit.
That's
hilarious. She always knew what was going on in that cul-de-sac.
You gotta have one, though.
Hey,
you gotta have one.
We also did. I ever tell you that I think we had a Russian spy living on that cul-de-sac?
No.
We'll pin that for another day. Remind me.
Okay.
I'm not even kidding.
All right.
I'm not even
kidding. If we have
kidding.
time at the end, you can tell us today.
Yeah.
But if not, you can tell us.
Stay tuned.
So that's her. And then Mr. Teddy Phillips is Anne's first teacher.
Oh, yeah.
Unpopular with students, and he keeps misspelling her name on purpose without the E. Yeah. And then she doesn't want to go to school because of him.
I mean, teacher bully.
Yeah. Yeah. He was just using his power to be mean.
I had a teacher bully.
And then he openly courts some of the older pupils. I don't think that's in this book. I think that's later ones.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, Prissy Andrews is one.
Yeah,
where
I remember
he's like,
that.
yeah. Cool. Oh, and then we've got Diana's parents.
Wow, you got
George
a lot
Berry.
of people
I know. I'm
there.
I'm just going to skip some of these. But we just talked about Minnie Mayberry, who's Diana's baby sister, whose life is saved by Anne when she becomes with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Group. That's
Look
what
at
I thought.
I know how to say a word.
As soon as I started to say it, I was like, I don't know if I've ever said this word out loud.
Did your kids ever have that?
Yours?
No, but they had everything else, I feel like.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, mine too.
Ugh.
They never just officially
Well, it's because they have vaccines now.
That's true.
We vaccinate our kids, so.
There you go. No croup, but just everything else. All right. So I already talked about the TV miniseries.
Yes. There's been how many?
There's only been one, but then there have been like other movies and stuff like
movies.
that.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
but isn't there one on Netflix now?
Right. So that's an adaptation.
But isn't that a miniseries?
It is. Yeah.
There's the original one, and then there's the most recent one.
Correct.
Got it.
And then there's like I think there's like a TV movie or two in there, stuff like that. So the TV miniseries aired on CBC, that's the Canadian Broadcasting Company, PBS, and the Disney Channel in 1985. And then in 1987, producer and director Kevin Sullivan reunited much of the cast for the second film, released in Canada, Anne of Green Gables. It was a miniseries, so I don't know why it's saying film. But anyway, it was a sequel to the miniseries, and those covered like further books.
I remember watching that.
Mm-hmm.
My sister loved Little House on the Prairie.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure we had this on VHS.
Yeah, probably. It was really popular. Like, yeah. And then and then in the 100th anniversary publication, there was a film, Anne of Green Gables, A New Beginning, that was a prequel and a sequel to the original series, and that was released in 2009.
Okay.
And then we got the Netflix one that was, I want to say 2023, but I have that later in my notes.
So there's a lot.
There's a lot, like, surrounding this. But when you think about how old it is, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Because over time.
Well, it's like Little Women. How many?
Yeah,
that's been.
Totally.
Geez.
There's a musical of that one now, too. Yep. So the Green Gables farmhouse is based on a real place located in Cavendish, Prince Edward Island. And there are tourist attractions there that people can go look at that the fictional Anne was based on. It's so crazy. Last week, a friend of mine whose kids have done stuff at our studio before, just on her Instagram randomly, they had pictures from Anne's like house in Green Gables.
You're like, hey, I'm reading that right now.
I did. I told her, I was like, oh, we're just about to do it. How was it? And she read the books as a kid, so she was just like
so
in heaven. And of course, the pictures were
cute.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Because it was like a breeze was blowing and the sun was out and there were wildflowers and then the homes are very like quaint looking. So it was just really funny. I was like, oh my gosh,
that's
I'm
so
reading
ironic
that right now. Yeah. So Balsam Hollow, which is the forest that inspired the Haunted Woods in Campbell Pond, is there. That's an actual forest in that area. And then there is an Anne of Green Gables museum that's located in Park Corner, Prince Edward Island, in the home that inspired her.
Cute.
Yeah. So there are real places kind of based on it.
Cute.
And then there's actually, so this is so fun. There's a replica of the Green Gables house in Cavendish. So the replica is not in Cavendish. A replica of that house is located in the theme park Canadian World in Japan.
What?
Yeah.
A theme park in Japan called Canada World isn't.
Yeah, I know. I just think that's so cool.
Uh-oh.
All right, so we're in Canadian
World
in Japan.
This is great.
It is a less expensive alternative, obviously, for Japanese tourists who are Anne of Green Gables fans.
I love this.
It's a huge thing over there.
Well, because it's like Americana, so I get it. It's like...
Yeah, and it hosts performances featuring actresses playing Anne and Diana. It is open during the summer season. It's with free admission.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. On the Anne of Green Gables official site, they have a whole merch section. So I was just like looking at it.
Oh my God, hilarious.
And you know what they have are coffee mugs and journals with quotes.
Did you buy one?
I didn't, but I might buy this one. So one of them that's on one of the popular coffee mugs says, "Tomorrow is fresh with no mistakes in it yet."
Cute.
I thought that was really cute. So I wrote that down. Okay, time for some fun facts.
I'm ready.
Anne of Green Gables was almost never published. I know you would have been heartbroken. I already told you this part. She stored it in a hat box after multiple publishers rejected it. And then she dusted it off and tried again. So good for you. On the original manuscript, they still have. I already told you that too. It's popular in Japan. Okay. But this is what it's called in Japan.
Oh, okay.
Obviously translated into the language there. Red-haired Anne.
Love that.
That's what it's called.
Love that.
And it's been included in the national school curriculum since 1952. Anne is revered as an icon in Japan, especially since 1979 when the story was broadcast as an anime.
Ooh.
Yes.
Interesting.
And Japanese couples will travel to Prince Edward Island to have civil wedding ceremonies.
Cute.
On the grounds of the Green Gables farm. And Japanese girls arrive as tourists and boys with red-dyed hairstyled and pigtails to look like Anne.
Oh, that's funny.
I just think that's so cute.
Well, because red hair is such like a rarity, probably.
Yeah. Oh,
so
yeah.
It's, you know.
Yeah. Yep. And if you figure if you learn about it in school, then everyone learns about it. It's kind of in your like educational makeup. So there is, like we said, lots of adaptations, but Anne of Green Gables, the musical.
The musical.
Which Sarah told me about a while ago, because we actually looked to see if it was like something we could get rights to.
Don't ask me to go. I'll be Murillo.
So, there you go.
No,
there you
just
go.
kidding. I don't want to do that.
Yeah. I bet she's an alto.
I hope every alto out there saw that shade she just threw to us in that moment. Wow.
But I said I like Marilla.
Right. But we were talking about how she's grumpy and all this stuff. She said, I bet she's an alto.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know. I guess
now we know what first sopranos really think about us, everybody.
She's probably a first soprano. You're like, see?
No, because we know it's fine.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
It's all right, because altos bring the depth.
They do. They really do. And the nuance. I'll add that.
She's making up for it now.
Don't tell my friends. Okay. So it ran every summer from 1965 to 2019 at the Confederation Center of the Arts, which is in Canada. Of course, in 2020, it stopped running, but it is back. This is crazy. It's running this summer, and it's run the past couple summers. It opened yesterday.
Are you going?
No. Well, maybe. No. You know why? It runs every weekend through September 5th. It's running the
That's
same.
why you're not going.
You know why? Because it's in Canada. That's why.
That's why I'm not going.
It's the exact same run dates of our show.
Yeah, because if it wasn't, you'd be there.
Otherwise, I'd be in Canada, obviously.
To see Anne of Green Gables, the musical.
I did look up if you can license it. That particular version, I couldn't find that it's licensable, but Musical Theater International does have a version.
Ooh.
It's a one act.
Have you listened to it? Oh, it's not a musical? Oh,
it is a musical, but it's only a musical one act. I think it's
musicals.
It wasn't labeled as a junior, but I think it's for young performers.
Okay.
Like I think it's for like teenagers or whatever. That's Evelyn Nesbit. We're gonna go down a little tiny rabbit hole quickly.
Was this from Reddit?
Yes.
It was.
But then I found it on the Anne of Green Gables site, too.
She almost didn't want to tell me.
I was like, I can't lie.
Okay, I'm ready,
I can't lie. I'm too
right.
tired to lie. Okay. So Evelyn Nesbit, Montgomery, so you know how we were saying maybe she had some feelings she didn't understand about her sexuality.
Okay.
Well, here's a little more proof of that.
Ooh.
She clipped out this picture of Evelyn Nesbit and she hung it on her bedroom wall. She was the model for the face of Anne Shirley and a reminder of her youthful idealism and spirituality.
Okay.
So Evelyn Nesbit is considered an icon in the Gilded Age of American theater, and she's kind of scandalous because she became involved with a famous married Manhattan architect, Stanford White, when she was still a teenager. So then later, she married a millionaire, Harry Kendall, a man known for his extreme instability and jealousy. So in 1906, her husband, Harry, shot and killed Stanford White during a rooftop performance at Madison Square Garden, claiming he did so to defend Nesbit's honor.
Damn.
Yeah. She's cute.
She's pretty.
She's an icon. So the subsequent trial from that was like a massive media sensation, dubbed the trial of the century, and the public was like just wanting to hear all the lurid details of wealth, exploitation, and obsession. And other things like Chicago, the musical, was based on a lot of things, including this case.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. They both. Oh, yes. They both. Oh, yes. They both.
It was in 1906, so it was earlier than Chicago set, but like the idea of like wealth and love and jealousy and murder and all those
drama
things. And beautiful women.
Beautiful women. Sex.
Beautiful women like Nesbit, Evelyn. I couldn't remember her first name. Okay, some social discussions surrounding the book. We already talked about the queer subtext.
Yes.
Modern readers and literary critics noticed the intense, passionate emotional bonds between Anne and her female friends, particularly Diana.
Which, I mean, on the flip side of things, that is, let's be real. Women do form deep friendships and relationships, not of a sexual nature as well, especially when you're that young.
Agree.
And especially because Anne hasn't had strong relationships at all with anyone.
Yes.
And she's like so thirsty for just a good quality relationship. To be fair, like I can remember having friendships as a child that felt so important.
Totally.
You know, and like that were not of a crush nature or of a sexual nature, but they were just like so important. And like I had to hang out with them all the time and I loved them so much. And I saw my kids have friendships like that too.
Sure.
So I will say on the flip side of things, that is that is
right. I totally
a valid
agree,
thing.
Especially because the author, Montgomery, did experience that herself.
Right. She also went through that. So
right. And probably whoever her first real friend was, she remembers feeling that, you know, just that we're human nature. We want people to love us and accept us and want to be with us. And that can be really intense, you know, when you're young.
Well, and we are made for connection. Like we are made for community. Like we just are. Like from the dawn of time, like we need each other. And when you don't have each other, you do feel like something's off. So then when you have it, it's like, oh, yay. Like
totally.
It's like a puzzle piece clicks into place that hasn't been there yet. So anyway.
I agree with that. And then obviously I told you in later novels, she goes on to marry Gilbert. But then also there's some talk about great Aunt Josephine Barry, who is grieving the loss of her lifelong female partner, Gertrude.
When was this?
This is in later books.
Oh, okay.
And they describe it as a Boston marriage.
What is that?
I looked it up. It's not queer specific. It's just like women
Two widows lived together. It's like Golden Girls.
Yeah. Basically.
I'm here for that when I'm older, if that happens to me.
Me too.
If that happens to me, give me a Boston marriage.
And as I mentioned, that Netflix adaptation, Anne with an E, does have more specific LGBTQ storylines. Also, when you look at Anne's personality, again, all the things you just described could be that, and we didn't have words for this back then, but some critics and modern readers view her as either being on the autism spectrum or having ADHD.
Oh, ADHD for sure.
Yeah, because, of all the things.
She would like daydream and they'd be like, Anne, I told you to. And she's like, yeah, but then I did this and that and this and that. I'm like, girl, I feel that.
Yeah, the like lack of focus and the easily distracted. She misses unspoken social rules. She misinterprets conventions. But she also wasn't part of that society till she was 11.
Right. So she
there's that.
know.
So there's that. And she has a lot of hyperfixation for different things, which again, we all get excited about different things. And also there's nothing wrong with having ADHD or being on the autism spectrum. But these could be interpreted whatever way you really want them to be. And then she's also extremely sensitive to her surroundings, and she becomes completely absorbed in her thoughts, which is a neurodivergent experience.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So anyway, and obviously like Lucy Montgomery wouldn't have had any way to label any of that other than this is just the personality of the character I'm describing.
Well, and I mean, do we need the label?
No.
I mean, it doesn't. I think we always have to wonder, like, what will a label be beneficial for a certain reason? Like, if you're trying to have access to resources or you need, assistance medically or something like that, a label is helpful in those kind of diagnoses.
Sure.
But for Anne's story, it's not.
It doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter.
And look, if you are neurodivergent or identify with any of those things, you can still see yourself in her character without a label.
Oh, of course.
You can feel seen and you can feel like, oh, that's something I would have done, or I wish I could have said that, or I felt that way before, right? And the best books have characters who do that. And not always. And we know now, too, modern stories, right? It is important maybe to have a label on something for representation.
Well, right. Yeah.
Right? But to have to go back to something from that far ago, I think it's okay just to be like, I don't know, like if you see it that way, that's probably fine. And I see it this way and, feel seen or heard or whatever.
Yeah. And it doesn't. I feel like people were trying to say like Anne was quote unquote wrong in how she thought, but then eventually they would come around to be okay with it.
Right.
So
she definitely pushed the boundaries of like the people around her and stuff. And I think that's part of the reason the character of her has endured.
Oh, yeah.
Even though, like you said, maybe some of the writing's a little boring or outdated, not bad, just maybe not what we would want to read today.
And some of it focused so much on like appearance, which
I have that in mind. Like,
it's like, God, this has been since the dawn of time. Women feel inadequate. We were just talking before we hit record about feeling inadequate.
We sure were.
Jesus.
But I will say we both said, but we know like that's just our heads. And
no, we recognize it, but it still is a thing.
It still exists. Yeah. I mean, that's what I have now are just generally thoughts on the book. I didn't go like thing by thing, but I had like pros and cons.
Let's hear them.
So the pros, I said that she is her own person. She does have to conform in some ways, but she kind of stands out. And as a reader, you appreciate that.
Yeah.
For all the times you felt like that, like an outsider or someone trying to be included, but you don't know the rules of where you are. And so I think like as a kid for sure, and even now, I see myself in those things. And I appreciate that. And also just it's an idyllic world where she lives. Like even as a kid, I always wanted to go there. Still never been there. I would go.
On your list.
I would go see the musical next week. No, just kidding.
Well, you made choices.
I just think there's something to, even though it's a real life place, it feels inaccessible for most readers. So it's kind of fun to like read about it. And the descriptions of where she was and all that I just thought were really, really lovely.
Okay.
What did you like about the book?
Well, it was well written and it was good. I mean, she's a good writer. And Anne was cute. She was funny. Like she had moments and I thought Marilla was funny with her dry humor. I mean, it was an endearing book. It just was too long. I feel like if it wasn't as long as it was, I may have liked it a little more. So. I threw in a con there, and also I didn't like the constant talk about appearance.
Yeah.
And like how people just kind of reinforced to her, like, it's fine to be plain.
Right.
Ooh,
I heard that.
I mean, she was likable. I didn't dislike Anne.
Right.
I mean, she was cute and like I said, I liked Rachel McAdams narrating. I think if I would have tried to read this in print, I don't know if I would have made it.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's good that we had that option.
I know.
Honestly. So the cons, I did say like all the time they spend on how she talks about how she doesn't like she looks.
Yeah.
But she does like her nose.
Okay.
Don't forget. There's one good thing about her. What is that Sex in the City scene where they're all looking in the mirror and Sarah Jessica Parker or Carrie mentions her nose, and then Charlotte's like, "Oh, I'll see your nose and raise my chin," and they're all like pointing things out in the mirror.
Except for Samantha.
And she's like,
"What?"
And they all stop and stare at her, and she's like, "But I love myself."
Yeah, well, they do that in Mean Girls too.
Yeah. So anyway, so she does like her nose, but anyway, I didn't like the idea that you could just like return a whole child if it wasn't what you expected.
That.
Not to get too in the weeds, I'm pretty sure you can still do that. Not necessarily gender-based.
What?
But I think there's like a trial period for adoptions, which I do understand. It's a huge life decision, but...
Well, I know with fostering too. Like, that's a whole... I'm
sure there's a whole... Again, I'm not a professional there, so I don't want to delve into it. But I think that's still a thing. Gilbert's mean to her, but then like we know later she ends up loving him and marrying him.
It's that whole boys will be boys narrative that is gross.
And if they like you, they're going to be mean to you.
And they're going to tease you and make you feel bad about yourself.
Yeah. Yes.
No, that's
that face.
And we just say, okay, haha.
Must have a crush on you.
But I mean, I did like the moment where she was like, you cannot say that to me, crack on the head. I was like,
yep.
Okay, violence isn't the answer, Anne, my dear. But also he's a jerk.
Yeah. I mean, it's a definitely memorable moment. That's for sure. And then I just said, I know just because I read about the later books, but we already talked about this where she's a housewife and the books are just about her kind of domestic life, which again, there is nothing wrong if even in modern times, most of your life revolves around your home and what you do domestically. I just think that people
wanted more for her.
They wanted more for her.
But things happen to your life.
Yeah.
And maybe she changed her mind.
Yeah. I mean, maybe. And, she was portrayed as happy in those books.
Society be telling you things that you're supposed to be doing, especially back then. So.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. And it sounds like even the author, Montgomery, got her degree and she eventually... It's interesting because in this book, Matthew... spoilers, dies.
Yeah.
And so that means that she has to come back.
Right.
Anne comes back, and she's supposed to teach at this school that's kind of far. So that's sort of like Gilbert's redemption arc because he has the job at the local school.
Right.
And he lets her have it so she can be closer to home, which is kind of nice. But it's interesting because then when I read about Montgomery's real life, that kind of happened to her. She was away, and then her grandfather died. She came back.
Okay.
And she remained there. But she obviously made the most of it and still got to kind of do what she wanted to do. And she seemed like a pretty nice person. What other thoughts on this book? Or are you just glad to have it done?
Did you watch the miniseries, the newest one?
No, okay. I didn't have time. I'd like to, though. Especially now that I've freshly read this and done some research. Yeah. I think it would be interesting to watch.
No, I have nothing. Speaking of watching things, this is the last of our Xennial Girl Summer. And then we're starting my So-Called Life rewatch. We're going to watch the pilot episode, and I'm going to do research for next week.
Cool.
And then we're going to watch 3 episodes every week. And that's what we're going to talk about.
Because that'll take 6-ish weeks.
6 weeks, because there's 19 episodes.
Right.
So that's what we're doing next. We are no longer doing 2 episodes a week, guys. It's too much. We cannot keep this train going.
No, and it was great for Dawson's Creek, but yeah, it's okay. We have such a library, too. I think when we first started, I wanted to have like a good archive of stuff for people to listen to when they found us, but we have 225 episodes
we're good
now, so we don't necessarily have to double and triple and all the things. And so if you were a My So-Called Life fan or you've been wanting to watch it like me for the last 30 years.
I cannot wait to rewatch the show.
Obviously, I know the premise. I know who's in it because I was alive when it came out.
Correct.
And it was everywhere. But I'm actually excited to get to actually watch it.
I know. So sneak peek, I started research this morning just for like 15 minutes. And I was like, God, what was it going on in my life at the time when this show came out? It came out when I started my freshman year of high school. And that's exactly the plot line of Claire Danes' character.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
And
That's
I
exciting.
remember my friend Katie and I, and I have to message her once we start doing this. We were obsessed with this show, and it makes so much sense now why it kind of, and I think that was the narrative for a lot of people. It just, and you'll see when you start watching it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it was. It was like perfect timing for what was about to happen or what was happening in my life.
In your life.
Yeah.
So awesome. Anyway, I'm looking forward to it.
That's next, guys. So if you want to join us, they're on Apple TV, I think.
Apple TV? Mm-hmm. Okay, great. That was going to be my next question.
Yep.
So join us for My So-Called Life. And if you missed any of our Xennial Girl Summer episodes, they are all live for you now. With this one going live. And I'm sure we'll do it again next summer.
Yeah, we will.
And I enjoy it. I enjoyed the things that you had me watch and read this summer.
Well, except for some of it. You didn't like Days Confused. We were not.
Yes, but that was my pick. I'm thanking you because you had good picks.
Well, you had good picks too.
You had Harry and the Hendersons in Space Camp.
Yeah.
And then you had the Mixed Up Files and Ramona.
Yeah.
And those, I loved them all.
Well, no, we both have good picks. Even when I don't love it, I'm glad I reread it.
That's true.
Do you know?
Yeah.
I wasn't
like Sweet Valley. Sweet Valley was a ride. So at the very least, it was interesting.
That was a good discussion. Well, and it was interesting to revisit because I don't remember it being like that.
I don't remember it being that bad. I knew it would be a little bit like soap opera-esque.
I know.
But it was like page 1.
I know. All right, y'all.
All right.
See you next week.
We will see you next week here on Generation in Between.
Bye.
Bye everybody.
You gotta get your